Testing. Okay, it's working. Hi, Jas. I'm just setting up. Hi, Jas. I'm not in a horror costume yet, Jas. I am just getting ready, just getting the drinks. I've got a new PC, so hi, Car. Nice to see you. Right. So hello, talk over here. We'll be hopefully starting at 6 p.m. here in Japan, so 7 minutes. Put this here. I hope there are no technical problems today. Hey Momo, nice to see you. Hi Zia. The gang is all here. Just getting ready. Actually, I should put on some spooky Halloween music. Let me check my downloads folder. Do I have any? Oops. Too many folders. Empty. There's nothing in my downloads folder. That's a lie. Is this horror music? Let's have a look. Ooh, can you hear that? Please let me know if you can hear the music. So you guys will see my costume in a few minutes. I'm hiding myself. Thank you very much. I hope it's not too loud. I will have to change it to my earphones because later the audio will be important. Today should be a fun lesson. Right, and then OBS, I want to put this into... I actually can't see myself, so I don't know how this looks, but we'll give it a go. Oh, that's good timing. Okay, I think we're about ready. So, let's close this, let's close this, and I think we're ready to go. So, welcome to today's Halloween. I'm gonna press this button, and here we go. Welcome to today's Halloween live stream. Woo! Okay, now I can see myself. How do I look? It doesn't really look like a pumpkin. It looks more like you know, a baby's diaper, but like upside down. Oh my gosh, sorry. Let me get the window right. Can you guys see me? Yeah, all good? Alright, how are you all doing? Happy Halloween! Woo! So, yeah, I got this pumpkin for my, what was it? Students, the younger students, of course. I want them to, you know, get into the Halloween spirit. So, I went to the nearest store that sells costumes, but everything's so expensive. Like, the problem is, I want to buy a costume, but I'm only going to use it once. Once a year, maybe. And I don't know how long I will be in Japan. So, I thought I'll get something cheap. I'll get something easy. I don't wanna put on like trousers and a shirt. So I thought this might be a bit good. But Momo, indeed, it is not the most comfortable thing. It's pretty hot, but I'll keep it on for now, okay? But there we go. So, how do I look? But yeah, how are you guys doing? I've been pretty good. Yesterday I was catching up with a few friends, so that's why I couldn't stream yesterday. And yeah, there are gonna be a few changes looking at the end of the year and next year, but I won't talk about that right now. Today we'll just focus on having a bit of fun. I've worked pretty hard on some parts of today's lesson, and I hope, fingers crossed, that everything will be okay, because I've actually got a new PC, so hopefully things will be smoother, a bit better, because it's a lot more powerful than my old stupid laptop. But there we go. Okay, so I'm just checking the YouTube side. The quality, not too bad. Okay, great. So on the YouTube side, if you cannot hear me, please do let me know and I will try to fix that for you. Okay? But I think we're mostly ready. Let me just quickly take a drink. So, okay. Right, so thank you very much, everybody, for coming to today's live stream. Today, we're going to be looking at, of course, Halloween. I know Halloween was 2 days ago, but, of course, this was the best time to do the stream, because last week would have been way too early. So, I've taken off my pumpkin hat. I apologize, but it's just way too hot. So, we're gonna do our best. Let's have some fun. Get a nice cup of hot tea, as it's getting pretty chilly these days. It's crazy, because I was using the AC, like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And now, I'm already using the heater. Like, I know I'm wearing a shirt, but my feet and hands are always cold. So, but hopefully with some spooky stories No. When you feel scared, you feel cold, not hot. So, oh well, whatever. Let's give it a go. So today, let's have a look at Halloween. Oh, thank you, Zia. You noticed, Zia, long-time fan. Not long time. Let's just say, very nice regular here. But let's have a look at today's Halloween lesson. First of all, looking at this picture, as always, please do your best to write some comments. What do you see here in this picture? Of course, everything today is related to Halloween, so what do you see? It's a very big part of Halloween, but not all countries do this. Nice one, Eddie, already giving some great answers. Thank you very much. This is indeed trick or treat. You know, there's little children. Actually, please do give me a moment because I've just realized this new PC. I need to add the screen where you can see both the monitor and me at the same time. So please give me a second. What's the button? Oh my gosh, that's not the right button. Okay, let's put screen plus face. Please give me a second. It's going to take some time. Add this button. Okay, so you can hear me, but you can't see me. So we need to add my screen number 2. We're gonna make this smaller, and then we're going to add my camera. Where's the camera? Video capture device, this one. Okay, and then we're going to put the screen in front of the camera. And then we're going to move me over here. I'm too big. I don't need to be this big. Let's make this a bit bigger. Okay, that's as good. I don't want to waste too much time. I will do this after the stream. Oh, okay, right. Anyway, so trick or treat. We do have a classic tradition, especially in America and the UK. And yeah, a lot of these kids spend a lot of time just getting a lot of candy, and they do a lot of what was it? They dress up, of course. They go to the doorbell and they go bing bong and they go trick or treat, and of course you have to give them candy. If you don't give them candy, or sorry, in the UK we say sweets, not candy. That's American. Now American English is okay. But yeah, before Halloween, you need to prepare a big bowl of small sweets, and then you give it to them. But if you forget, then they might trick you by throwing, I think it's raw eggs at your window, and some people do toilet paper, but actually, very rarely do people actually trick you, you know, even if you do forget candy. But yeah, it does happen occasionally, so do be careful, okay? Alright, so trick or treat. Hello. So, how do people celebrate Halloween in your country? I want to hear your answers. Yeah. So, let's go back to here. So, in our country, sorry, I forget to talk about Japan or the UK. In the UK, it's trick or treating. In Japan, it's more adults who kind of dress up and do these things. But what about in your country? Maybe India, in Russia, in China? Like, is Halloween even celebrated? Is it popular for children or adults? Which one? How do you feel? Okay, so, oh, this is the problem with getting a new PC. So in my state, we don't celebrate Halloween. Interesting. Hi, Anita. Nice to see you. And what was it? I find it interesting that India uses states as well. I didn't know that, but they join in big events and try to scare people. Oh, that's nice. Sorry, Momo. Could you remind me, which country are you from? I don't recognize that flag. My knowledge of flags is terrible. I apologize. So, okay. Oh, I have to keep pressing this button. Anyway. So yeah, there are many different ways of celebrating Halloween, but yeah. Now, looking at this picture, ooh, we have this person staring at the book. Ooh, maybe he's reading a type of book. What kind of book is he reading? Well, it's most likely a horror story, right? So, my question to you, do people... press this button over here. So, do people in your country like horror stories? I think all over the world, horror is quite popular, I think. I don't know if it's as popular as, what do you call it, as action or fantasy and things like that, but I feel like it's getting more popular these days, especially with things like, anime, video games. Some of the most popular video games are kind of horror related. But how about horror stories? Why do people like horror stories? I feel like it's the same reason as fantasy. Fantasy is very, how do I say it? It's so different to reality that we can kind of escape from the real world, right? We don't want to think about work. We don't want to, you know, think about going back to the office on Monday and doing all that paperwork and the stupid emails. So, of course, we want to escape from reality. And horror is kind of, it's almost like a dark fantasy, right? Because you often hear about ghosts, supernatural stuff like aliens and things like that. So I think it's a nice way to escape. But thinking about you, like, if you like horror stories, why do you like it? I would love to hear some of your comments, okay? But first, let me just quickly read some of the comments. Um, so now we don't celebrate it here in Punjab, but some people are influenced by Western culture and they celebrate it as a fun thing. That's exactly how it is in Japan. I think, what was it? I did this lesson with another Japanese student earlier today, and she's, I think, probably, what was it, in her like 40s, 50s, and she said 20 years ago, no Halloween. Nobody dressed up. It was just they've heard of it, but they never saw it. But recently, commercialization, things like Christmas as well, Valentine's Day. It's a good way to make a bit of extra moolah, a bit of extra money. So it's become a bit more popular these days. But, as long as you don't scare someone and give someone a heart attack, then it should be okay, right? But, uh, and then India, 29 states. Oh, 29 states, interesting. But Momo, I like horror stories too because it's fun and it increases the dopamine. Dopamine, great word, yeah? It's that hormone that is released when we feel excited, right? Okay. If you feel alone at night, then you listen to horror stories. Oh, if you can watch a horror movie or listen to horror stories by yourself at night, oof, you are brave. I don't think I could do that. But recently, I've been getting a bit more into horror. Um, I don't like horror stories. They mess with my brain and my heart. Trues, yeah, very true. Okay, so let's have a look at some internet comments from a famous website called Reddit. One person says, I think because I have the luxury that I don't feel any horror in real life, so I get this kind of adrenaline boost with movies safe and sound from my couch. Yeah, exactly the same as what Momo said. Yeah, so a bit of adrenaline, bit of excitement. It's very calming for me. I feel like the inside of my mind is too loud, cluttered, and dark. Watching horror movies calms those thoughts down. So I think this is another example of where, yeah, escaping from reality. Because, of course, sometimes you watch those dramas that are very, like, similar to real life, like a romance about a boy and a girl who meet at work or something like that. But because it's quite realistic, that's good, of course. But the downside is, like, if it reminds you of work and you don't want to think about work, then maybe something like fantasy or horror might help you just forget about those stressful things in real life, right? So it might help to calm you down or just distract you. It helps to get rid of all the daily stress you brought from work or home. Sorry, work or school, doesn't it? There you go. I like this comment. I just like skeletons and stuff. It's a very cute comment. I imagine like a very young child writing this kind of comment. That's adorable. But yeah, everybody, people like horror for different reasons. Now, as a really nice word, you don't need to know this. We don't use this word very often, but morbid curiosity. Okay, so if you don't know what curiosity is, curious or having curiosity is like being interested in something and wanting to know a bit more, right? If you're curious about an event or a subject, then you're going to go on your smartphone, you're going to start Googling more information about this thing, yeah? But morbid curiosity, as you can see over here, morbid curiosity is, hello, it's being curious about things related to death. Okay, morbid meaning death. Wrong button. So, there's something fascinating about like the occult, magic, ghosts. You know those kinds of like urban legends. We talked about this during the Japan lesson. And superstitions. You know, these stories of like Bigfoot, La Llorona. I forgot that one, but these stories about ghosts. It's like we probably think they're not true, but there's a bit of mystery. It's like, but what if it is true? Like, don't you think there's a bit of magic, a bit of interest in those kinds of stories? It's pretty cool, right? Well, I think it's cool. Anyway, so morbid curiosity, that's probably a part of why so many people like horror. Now, are you interested in things like the occult, spirits, and death? Now, for me, I have to say, I've become a big fan of horror. I'm still a bit too scared of like watching a super scary horror movie by myself, but I do like horror stories. They just really get my blood pumping. But what about you guys? So sorry, I have to keep changing tabs. So let's move on. Now, let's have a look at a few creatures. Now, what is a creature? It's an unusual or imaginary living thing that often comes from fantasy. Now, creatures, the word creature can also be used to talk about animals, okay? But animals, of course, normally we just say animals, but in a documentary, you might say like, oh, rabbits and their species are absolutely wonderful creatures. But in everyday life, we just say animals. But if you're talking about fantasy, especially these things that probably don't exist, to think about Harry Potter, for example, dwarfs, elves, spirits, and things like that, these we often say are creatures. Okay, so let's have a look at a few examples of some creatures. Now, I'm going to give you 10 seconds to tell me, what creature is this? Okay, what creature is this? 10, 9, one word. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the answer is, of course, it's a zombie. Yeah, a classic horror creature that we see in many movies and dramas. Yeah, for example, The Walking Dead is one of the most famous. Okay. Now, what about this one? Ooh. Any ideas? What do you guys think about this one? I'll give you 10 seconds. Okay. Now, do you guys want a hint? Ooh, wolf is very close. Zia has been the closest. The spelling is a little different. It is werewolf, but it's spelt with a W-E-R-E. Okay, but very good, Zia. Well done. This is called a werewolf. Yeah. Werewolves are famous for. Sorry. So, werewolves are famous for kind of transforming, changing shape when they see the full moon. When the full moon comes out, and then they go, oh, and then they like start, and then they become hairy and, very muscly, and then they kill you, right? So, you do not want to meet a werewolf, okay? So, be careful. The next one. This is another very famous one. What do you guys think? Any ideas? Wow, Wolf ASMR. Thank you very much. Oh! So, Bhavana, very well done. This is indeed a vampire. Yeah. Bonus question. What is the name of this famous vampire? What is the name of this vampire? Chinese teacher, E.T. is a nice try. That's an alien. Who's this? Who's this? Yeah. Begins with D. Sorry, opposite. D. Yeah. D. 3, 2, 1. This is called Dracula. Oh, sorry, he. He is called Dracula, the famous vampire. Okay. All right. Now, moving on. Who's this? Or what's this? Man, my throat is killing me today. Sorry. And why is my chat not moving? Sorry. So, Vampire Etzkol, very well done. Dracula, that's right, very well done. And well done, guys, this is indeed a witch. Another bonus question. This is from a very recent movie that was just released last month? I think last month, yeah. Does anyone know which movie this comes from? Not Harry Potter, good guess. It's a movie about magic, witches, and I think it's a musical. Does anyone know? You can only think about Harry Potter? It's a good guess, yeah. This is from the movie Wicked, and I think one of the main characters is Ariana Grande, the famous singer. Yeah, so Wicked, there we go. All right, moving on. What's this? Is it a ghost? Oh, sugar! Said the word. I'm so stupid. It is a ghost. Wow, how did you guys know? I don't even think I'm tired. I don't know why I said the answer. Anyway, there will be more chances. So, a ghost. Do you guys believe in ghosts personally? Nah. I don't really believe in ghosts. But if you tell me, by the way, a person died here and his ghost, some people say that they can hear his ghost here. Like, I would feel a bit scared. So, I can't say I don't believe in ghosts 100%. But, what's this one? This one should be easy peasy lemon squeezy. This is a... There we go. We have a skeleton. Very good. Moment Zia, great job as always. So, yeah. It reminds me of, like, Disney or something for some reason. This cartoony style where he's like... but, there you go. By the way, I really love that movie. It was a Disney movie, The Nightmare Before Christmas. It's kind of like a movie about the mix between Halloween and Christmas. The main character is like a skeleton, and that's a classic movie. Love it. Anybody else? Anybody like The Nightmare Before Christmas? Wrong button. Sorry. But that's fine. Okay. Hmm. This one is not so easy. What do you guys think? Any ideas? And the answer is very well done, Zia and Chinese teacher. It is indeed a doll. Very creepy, right? Yeah. Right. I think especially after the movie Chucky, if you know that famous serial killer doll, um, I think after that, people started to become a bit more scared of dolls, especially like broken ones. It's kind of sad, right? Because they're made to make a child happy. But then imagine like Toy Story, they're like thrown away, and then it's all sad. And anyway, so a creepy doll, yeah, bit creepy. Now, I hope this doesn't scare anyone. Don't worry, today there won't be anything too scary. I've designed it so that even children can take this lesson. But this is indeed a clown. Yeah. Reminds you of the Joker from Batman, right? Especially the newer Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix. He had a great performance. I heard the second Joker movie was not as good as the first one, though. But yeah, clowns. Some people think they're very creepy, very scary. Some people are okay with them. Personally, I don't mind them. I don't think they're very creepy, but I can understand why some people might be scared of clowns. It can be a bit creepy. But okay. Now, last one. The last creature for today. What's this? What's this? Yeah. And we have Zia and Chinese teacher. Again, very quick on the mark. There's a mummy. Yeah. Imagine Egypt, the pyramids. Did you see? His eyes moved. He opened his eyes. No? Oh! There we go. Anyway, so yes, Mummy is a classic. Another one, kind of like a zombie, except they are more well preserved. They're like pickled almost. They're very nice and well preserved, except compared to zombies, which just their body rots and kind of there are worms and maggots and it's anyway. So, which creature do you think is scariest and why? Now, for me, personally, I think zombies or ghosts are the scariest. Zombies because they can run fast or they can run slow. Of course, they're not real, I hope. But if they get you, they eat you like very slowly, right? And you don't die instantly. So of course, it's a very slow and painful death. Ghosts just simply because you can't see them, right? Some people say that they have a sixth sense, or even animals sometimes, and that they can feel when a ghost is in the room. Like if it suddenly gets a bit cold, a bit chilly, then some people say that's a sign of a ghost. But yeah, I've never had any of these like scary experiences, but just imagining a ghost in my room, like it does give me the chills, right? But what about you guys? Um, Chinese teacher says dolls. Zia says all of them. Momo says nothing. We have a wide range of answers here. Um, and then Zia says, I'm even scared of cats if I see them at night. But cats, they have their eyes kind of reflect light at night, right? So sometimes you can only see their eyes, and it's pretty spooky. Bella says it really depends on how the story or the movie is told. That's very true. Very true. Hmm. Um, it's really interesting how a great writer or a great storyteller, a narrator, can really change the atmosphere. And hopefully, later at the end of today's lesson, I will be giving you two very special horror stories that I have. I didn't make them myself, but I did edit them to make it the right English level, and I added a lot of sound effects and music. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that'll be really fun. Okay. But anyway, let's move on. So, I hate dolls. They give me a creepy vibe. Oh gosh. Annabelle. Oh. Okay. So, moving on. Let's skip this part because I think it's boring. I don't think it's so useful. Maybe we'll look at it later. But are you scared? Let's have a look. Looking at this word, scary. Now, everybody knows the word scary. But does anyone know a kind of higher level word for scary? For example, imagine, I would say spiders are scary, but a really, really big spider is just, what would we call, very, very scary. Very good, Zia. You're very close. So the spider is terrified or terrifying? Which one? The spider, the big spider, is terrifying. I'm terrified, right? Now, if you say the spider is terrified, that means when I see the spider and the spider sees me, the spider is like, "Oh, human! Oh!" And then they run off, right? So terrified, ed adjectives show emotion. And usually we're talking about a human, your emotion, okay? So just be careful, yeah? But here we're looking at scary and terrifying. Very, very scary, okay? Now, under that, we have the word creepy. Now, what does creepy mean? It means something unnatural that makes you feel nervous. Okay? So, it's not super scary, but when you see it, you notice it and you think, ooh, like a small spider or a doll in the corner of the room or something like that. It's not so scary you want to run away, but it gets your attention and it makes you feel uncomfortable. For example, a creepy doll, right? What is that? It's it's part machine. Its body position is very weird. It's all kind of half broken, very old. It's a bit creepy, right? Hello, girl, please. Can you not smile like that? This is also... Now, okay, of course, it's a bit rude. I would never look at a young girl and say, "Ugh, you're creepy." That would be very rude. But this picture, yeah, her eyes, very, very wide open, and that creepy smile, right? You can tell it's not a real smile. It's not a smile because she's really happy, because I believe that you can tell, you can understand if a smile is real by these special lines. I forgot, there's a special word for these lines, but you can tell if it's a fake smile or a real smile by these lines here. But anyway, yeah, it's just creepy, right? If I try to do a creepy smile. So A normal smile for me would be like, hey, or something like that. But if I do a creepy smile, like I'm a serial killer, I'd be like, hi there, how's it going? You're looking very nice today, yeah. Okay, right. But what does creepy exactly mean? Creepy just means like a little scary and it makes you feel nervous or uncomfortable. Like this. Okay? But yeah, and another one, a classic example, a closet, right? Young children, especially when they sleep in their own room for the first time, if there's a closet, sometimes it feels like there's something hiding in the closet, right? So you might open the door and keep it open so you can always see what's inside, something like that. Okay. Now, moving on. How do you feel? I'm going to show you some imaginary situations. I want you to imagine you are in this situation. Tell me, how do you feel? Do you feel a little bit creeped out? You feel creeped out? Do you feel scared? Or do you feel terrified? Yeah, because everybody's different. How do you feel? There's a man. You don't know this person. He's a complete stranger. And he's staring at you. Not just 5 seconds, not just even 10 seconds. He's staring at you for maybe a minute. How would you feel? Yeah? I know I would feel pretty creeped out. Yeah? Um, so, for me, I would be pretty terrified because, of course, I think especially for women, because stalking is a real thing. Unfortunately, it really does happen. And you've got to be careful because it doesn't happen every day. I mean, it doesn't happen to you every day, but it probably happens to someone every day in the world, right? There are just so many people in this world. Now, I of course, I don't want to make you feel scared. I don't want to scare you, but it can be a real situation. Yeah, so someone's staring at you. Let me just quickly read some of the comments. Spider teacher, interesting. Um, so yeah, I think most people would feel creeped out, right? But gotta be careful. Ooh, an empty school. Imagine you forget your homework or you forget your bag, and it has your mobile phone in it. You go back to school at 6 p.m., 7 p.m., but it's already dark. All of the teachers are in the staff room, which is in the other building. You walk up to the classroom on the third floor. The lights are dark. How do you feel walking through the corridors? It's a very long corridor, lots of rooms, and all you hear is the footsteps. I can't do footstep sounds, but anyway. Um, so I would feel pretty terrified, right? Even as an adult. Because the school is a big place, right? There are a lot of rooms. There are many places for a killer or a monster to hide, right? Ooh. Right. Um, so what was it? It happens. I will be scared to death. Yeah, that's right, Zia. The Momo says the most thing I'm scared of is not reaching my goals. Wow, that's a very practical. Zia, school corridors. No way I will go to school, even if someone pays me $1,000,000. Yeah, it's pretty creepy, right? But okay. Oh, this is nice. This is an adorable jumping spider. Now, I will say, I don't like spiders, okay? I don't like spiders. But this little guy here, he's pretty cute, isn't he? He's pretty adorable with the big eyes. And oh, anyway. Spiders. How do you feel about spiders? Generally, I think they're a bit creepy. But if they're bigger than, like... If they're bigger than this, I'm terrified. I am terrified. They are terrifying. Yeah. Okay. Now, does anyone know what we call a phobia of spiders? I don't think anybody does know, so because it's a very rare word, but this is called arachnophobia. Okay? Arachnophobia. Phobia meaning a very strong fear of something. Okay? So it's not just a normal fear, it's like a medical condition. You need therapy to get rid of the phobia. Okay? This very sweet, cute spider is called Lucas the Spider. I think it's a YouTube channel, I think. But it's absolutely adorable. Okay. This one is quite interesting. Does anyone know what this is showing? I'll be very impressed if anybody knows the word for this. Have you ever experienced this kind of situation? A situation where you're awake, but you can't move. You're awake, but you can't move. Okay? This is called sleep paralysis. Sleep paralysis. Okay? Now, sleep paralysis is an actual physical condition, and it actually happens to about 8 to 50% of people. 8 to 50% experience sleep paralysis at least once during their lifetime. Okay? I don't know the actual how it works. I don't know if it's a problem with the muscles or the brain or something like that. I've never experienced it, but it sounds terrifying from what I've heard. And here, Zia says she's experienced it. Yeah, Momo seems like she's also experienced it. So what I'm interested in, does it happen after you've woken up? So when you wake up, you just can't move, but you know you're awake? Or is it kind of in the between the sleeping state and the awake state, where you're kind of like still dreaming, but you can still hear sounds, and it's kind of like, how does it work? How does it feel? Yeah, it's a nightmare. Wow, okay, a lot of you have experienced this. That's crazy. I wonder if certain types of people, or maybe it's like a genetic thing. So like if your parents have it, then you are more likely to have it. Maybe it's a genetic thing, or maybe it's for people who drink too much coffee before bedtime. I don't know. Do you guys drink coffee? We need to find the common link between Zia, Momo, and Bhavana so we can find the cause. But Shane says, cannot breathe, cannot open eyes. Really? You can't breathe? Really? Wouldn't you die? Jeez, that's terrifying. But it happens when you're awake, but also sleep. I feel like I'm suffocating. Jesus. So quite a lot of people here, like a quarter, like 5 people have said they've experienced this. It sounds terrifying, especially the not being able to breathe part. And I guess that's why in the picture you can see the hand is like pressing, because my other students today, they said it feels like there's a heavy weight, like something sitting on your chest, and that's probably why it feels like it's hard to breathe, I guess. But oof, jeez. No, thank you. No, thank you. But really, Eddie also. How it seems like everybody in this live stream has experienced it. It's terrifying. Oh my gosh. But yeah. Well, I'm glad you guys are still alive. Do you guys still have it regularly now, or was it just in the past? Well, anyway. Right. And interestingly, there is this painting by Henry Fuseli, The Nightmare, 1781. And this was before we understood, similar to like before viruses, people used to believe that when you were sick and that, if you sneeze, like, achoo, some people used to believe that it was like spirits taking over your body. Similarly, people used to believe that sleep paralysis was a sign that a demon or a spirit had possessed, taken control of your body. So that's why you can see here this demon sitting on top of this woman, so she can't move. Yeah, I do not know about this creepy horse in the background, but yeah. And then it feels like someone's choking me. We run out of breath. We call someone to help. No moment. Oof. And then the doctor said it's something wrong with the brain, but can't be cured. Jeez. And then dragging yourself for help. I think I've actually had a similar experience. Not sleep paralysis, but when I was a teenager, I think I had a nightmare every night for like a month. Every time I woke up, I was sweating like so much. And I had nightmares so often that I was able to not control my nightmares, but if I really focused, I could shout in my dream. And then in real life, I would be like, I would be making sounds. And then that would wake up my brother, who's sleeping in the same room, and he'd be like, Eric, shut up. And I'll be like, yeah. So I feel like I was able to control my real body at some point. But yeah, it's not the same as a nightmare, but jeez, that's terrifying. Anyway. Right. What about this? This is a very, very scary one. What do we call someone who kills many people? What do we call someone who kills many people? 2 words. 2 words. Okay. 5, 4. These are called serial killers. Yeah. Often there are documentaries and sometimes like crime dramas about serial killers. And these are real. These aren't just creatures that we imagine in horror stories like ghosts or zombies. These are real people. And I think the most terrifying thing is they look and act like normal people, right? That's how they often catch their victims. They're often very charming. And I studied this in crime psychology. I don't remember much from this part. It was very interesting though. But serial killers do not feel so like guilt or emotion in the same way. They often feel happy when killing, maybe because of a trauma or something like that. But serial killers are real, and that's why they are terrifying, because they really exist. Of course, there's still very few serial killers, but just criminals, serial killers, just normal killers. It's just all. What do you guys think? But okay. here is our first sound for today. What do we call this object? What is this thing? Any ideas? This is a music box. Yeah. And yes, they are dancing dolls and kind of spinning, right? But you open it, and then there's usually something spinning, usually a doll or a figure, and then it plays some music, right? So now, I can see on the Hello Talk side many comments. If you're on the YouTube side and you cannot hear this music, I haven't played it yet, but if you can't hear anything, please tell me, okay? I'm going to play it now. 3, 2, 1. Can you hear it? How do you feel about this kind of music? I'll play it again. Ah, dang it. Okay, give me a second. I'm gonna play it on my speakers because stupid thingy. Okay, speakers. Let's go over here. Okay. I think on the YouTube side, maybe they heard it, but... Right. Let's try again. Yeah. Uh-oh. It's not playing. Why? Okay, sorry, 1 second. Aha! Okay, I think I got it. There we go. Okay. Okay, did you guys hear that? Yeah, thank you. So Zia says, no, it's okay, I don't need to listen. But, yeah, okay. So, yeah, that kind of music, often in like horror movies or games, it really helps to add a bit of atmosphere, right? Now, sorry, let me quickly change this one. Properties. Let's go with the speaker. It's quite interesting. Music is very interesting because depending on the type of key that you use, it can create a different emotion. So I think happy songs or energetic songs, party songs, often are played in the major key, but sad songs are usually played in the minor key, I think. And if you play a happy song and kind of only use minor keys, then it suddenly sounds sad. I think something like that. I'm not a music expert, so please take this with a grain of salt, but that's what I've heard. So, yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? How our brain, even if it's a new song, we can instantly say, ooh, this feels sad. Or like, ooh, this feels quite happy. Or something like that, yeah? So, but anyway, let's move on. Let me... Okay. Right. So, horror movies. It's a classic. We have many different horror movies here. How many horror movies do you recognize? I'm going to give you 15 seconds to name as many horror movies as you can. I know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I recognize 8 of these, but I don't know the other 4. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Zia says the reason why she hates dolls is Annabelle. Wait, which one is Annabelle? Is Annabelle this top right one? this one. Because I've actually never seen Annabelle. Is it Annabelle? Because, are you talking about this one, Zia? Because this one's Chucky, isn't it? Bear egg shape thing. Oh, interesting. Jaws, very good. Eddie, that's right. We have Jaws. And then we also have The Shining, right? This one's The Thing. I haven't actually seen this one. Saw. Saw is not so scary. It's more just gory. There's a lot of blood. Alien versus Predator. Again, I'm not sure it's horror, but it is very gory. This one, I'm not sure. This one, I think, is called Us. I don't know this one, and this one's Paranormal Activity. But there you go. So, yeah, horror movies, great. Some of them are like some of these horror movies do such a great job of building tension, right? Similar to how an action movie builds tension to the climax. But these horror movies make you feel uncomfortable. They make you want to look away, but at the same time, you want to see what happens, right? But fascinating. Anyway. Yeah, are you a fan of horror movies? I will watch a horror movie with friends, but not by myself. But me, I'm more of a horror video game person. I love horror video games. But okay, moving on. Now, if you guys have been with me for a while, I think I did my first live stream last year, around this time of year. This was my very first live stream. Please raise your hand if you have seen this live stream. I don't think anybody here has seen the very first live stream I've done. Maybe if you have, please let me know. But about a year ago, I started doing these themed lessons, and yeah, it's kind of crazy to think that it's already been 1 year since then. And we've done so many different topics. Do I have it here? No, I deleted it. But I think I've done like 16, 17 different themed lessons. We've talked about so many things like Valentine's Day, psychology, video games. What was it? I already said psychology. Superstitions, and then Halloween for the second time, and British culture. So yeah, it's what was it? It's crazy. Anyway, Zia, you joined 4 months ago. Oh, that's nice. But let's have a quick look at fears and phobias. Now, we talked a little bit about this earlier. You can see this is very old because of the font and the background. Hopefully, I think we can all agree my presentations are a lot better nowadays. Still not perfect, but getting better. But yeah, what's the difference between a fear and a phobia? Well, it's just fear is a normal emotion, right? It's necessary for humans. If we were not scared of anything, then we wouldn't avoid dangerous things like bears or like poisonous mushrooms. And then naturally, if we're not scared of dangerous things, then we will probably get too close and we might get killed by a bear, or we might eat a poisonous mushroom. So fear can be good. But too much fear is an illness. Yeah. If you see a tiny spider and you think, nope, okay, I can't do this. See you later. And you get out the room, that's a phobia. It's like irrational, it's too much, it's excessive. So this is a phobia. Now, here are some of the most common types of phobias. Okay? What is this a phobia of? If you know the special name, something phobia, that's perfect. But in other words, it's a fear or a phobia of what? it is indeed a fear of heights, which is called acrophobia. If you think about those people in the circus, the people that walk and balance on the very thin tightrope, they are called acrobats. Acrobats also, I think they're the ones that jump on the trampoline and do lots of like flips, very similar to gymnasts. But acrobats, they often do stuff in the air, in high places. Acrobat, acrophobia. Yeah? Alright. What about this one? You can see this woman is feeling a bit, oh no, I can't do this. Oh no, 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 no. What's this? I'll give you a clue. Where is this person? It's not a train. They are high in the air, meaning this is a fear of flying. Yeah. I will say, I don't have a phobia of flying, but especially taking off, and especially when there's turbulence, that is like when it's the plane is shaking because of the rough air, that like I have to grab onto the armrests, and like it does make me feel nervous. But when it's smooth, of course, like I'm fine. But even if there's a little bit of shaking, I do. I try to just focus on the movie that I'm watching. But yeah. By the way, don't you think it's amazing that you can still eat food, drink things, like, and that planes can be so smooth? To me, that's still just kind of crazy that you're so high in the air, but you can have such a smooth experience, right? When there is no turbulence. But anyway. Okay. Interesting. What's this? This is a fear of social situations, talking to other people. Now, I do think that a lot of people have not a phobia, but a lot of people do feel quite nervous in social situations, right? At parties when you don't know anybody, or like public speaking when everybody's looking at you, right? Social anxiety is normal, but a social phobia, that's when you might need to see a therapist, right? Because if you're so terrified of talking to people, you can't make friends. And it's very difficult to live your life without friends, right? So, what was that? I must have pressed the wrong button. Oh, wow. What is this? What is this? This is trypanophobia. You don't need to know this, but it is a fear of needles. Yeah. Do you guys have a fear of needles? Because it's quite creepy. Like you never want to look at the needle when they are injecting you, right? Ooh. What about this? This, I think, is a fear that we've all had before. This is a fear of the dark, right? A lot of people do not like the dark because we don't know if there's something hiding in the dark. Maybe it could be a zombie, it could be a ghost, it could be a serial killer, but it could be anything. And the more we think about it, the scarier it is. Does anyone know what this is? This is a fear of closed spaces. Claustrophobia. Now, claustrophobia is a surprisingly common word, right? If you're in a small space or like a small tunnel or an elevator, and somebody might say, "Oh, no, I don't want to go in. I'm claustrophobic." Yeah. So this is actually quite a useful word to know. Okay. And there we go. We have many different types of phobias. Yeah. Things related to nature, things related to animals, situations, and medicine. Yeah, fear of blood is quite common. Um, a fear of like dogs. If you were bitten by a dog in the past and you had some sort of trauma, this is quite a common fear. Okay. For you, what is the most terrifying thing? Okay. I want you to think about that. Maybe just writing one sentence. Please give me a break. I'm just going to pop to the loo, to the toilet for 1 minute because I've been drinking not enough water, but enough water that I want to go to the toilet. So please wait. Let me know your answers. What are you scared of? Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Right. So let's continue. Zia says, I have a fear of heights, night, empty places, insects, trypophobia. That is a typophobia? Trypophobia? I think if you don't know, trypophobia is the fear of like holes, like a beehive, or like, yeah, it makes you feel sick. For me, I'm not scared of them, but it does make me like want to vomit. It's like, ugh, it's gross. But I know what you mean. Mio says humans. Nice to see you, Mio. Humans, yeah, I remember. What was it? Humans, they're just, criminals. They can do bad things and they're real, right? So humans, pretty terrifying, right? But let's move on. Now, would you rather? I want you to imagine this situation. Would you rather stay 24 hours in a haunted house or 24 hours in a dark forest? Now, I'm trying to think. In a haunted house, if there is something inside, it's probably quite hard to escape, right? Now, in horror movies, you often see like they go into this dangerous place, and when you're watching, you think, why don't they just go outside? Why don't they just leave? Now, usually it's because they have to save someone or find something, right? Because the horror movie would be very short if, let's say there's a group of teenagers, one of the girls is abducted, kidnapped by the killer. If the main characters just said, I'm not saving her. No, I don't want to die. See ya. And then credits. Dun, 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 dun. Like it would be a very short movie, right? But yeah, haunted house or a dark forest. Personally, I think the dark forest, too many animals. There's like, it's cold, maybe it's wet. I think probably haunted house is better. What do you guys think? But anyway. Oh no, I hate this question. Yeah. Would you rather walk through a room full of spiders or walk through a room full of snakes? Arachnophobia is one of the most common phobias. I don't know the name of a snake phobia, but it's also very common. Personally, I don't know if I have arachnophobia, but I do hate spiders. And if there's a big one, I don't think I would be brave enough to catch it in a glass. I'm too scared it would jump on my face. But what about you guys? Do you prefer spiders or snakes? Now, this is an interesting one. Would you rather live in a jikobuken, which is a Japanese word for a property where somebody has died? Now, it's quite sad, but in Japan, there's an aging population, and there are a lot of old people who die alone, right? They just, maybe they have a heart attack, and then their body is found many days, sometimes weeks or months later, when the neighbors realize, when they realize there's a strong smell. And of course, they call the police, and they have to break down the door, and then they find that they've passed away. When a property, like an apartment or maybe a house, when somebody dies in that house, I think there's a belief or a superstition. Maybe not a superstition, but people believe that their spirit kind of stays in that house. So, in other words, it's haunted. And then, as a result, nobody really wants to stay in a haunted house. And so it has less value, or rather, it's more difficult to sell it for a high price. So they have to lower the price. These are called jikobuken, which are directly translates to accident property. And there's even some interesting websites where you can search specifically for jikobuken because they're a lot cheaper than normal ones. Yeah. And often you can't find these places on normal real estate websites. Yeah. So, anyway, pretty interesting. So, would you rather live in a haunted house, jikobuken, or an empty prison? Personally, I think I would prefer the prison, but not because the prison is less scary, but more because prison's huge, right? So if I could live in an empty prison, like if I don't have to buy it, of course, if I just get it, imagine you could renovate it, you could turn it into a hotel, or you could make it a crazy party place. Okay, maybe not a party place, but like, yeah, a hotel, right? And then think of the money. I feel like such a greedy businessman. I know nothing about business, by the way. But yeah, I'm just thinking there's a lot more opportunity with the prison. But anyway. Would you rather be in the deep ocean? In the deep ocean, right? Like this. Or be in a tiny space? I definitely think a tiny space would be easier for me. I cannot stand the ocean. One, because I'm not a very good swimmer. I can swim for about 10 seconds. But just imagining, especially if you're already quite deep in the water, it's not like the land, where if you're walking in the park, you just have to worry about in front, behind, left, right. But if you're in the sea, if you're like deep. Something could be above you, something could be under you, behind you, all 360 degrees. So, like, that's just terrifying to me, especially if it's deep, and especially because some of the largest animals on Earth are on the ocean. Who knows? Before you realize it, you're like Pinocchio and you've been swallowed up by a giant whale. Like, that's terrifying to me. No, thank you. Right? But, yeah. None of them I feel suffocating. But Zia says she has hydrophobia. Yeah, fear of the water. Very good. Hi, Yulia. Nice to see you. But, yeah, it's pretty terrifying, right? Both situations are scary. Let's skip this one, just because of time. This one's not so scary, but it's related to the next thing we're going to talk about. Would you rather go to the afterlife or be reincarnated? Now, depending on your religion, if you're maybe Buddhist, you might believe in reincarnation. If you're Christian, you might believe in heaven or hell. I'm not so familiar with the Islam religion, so please let us know. But, like, if you had a choice, would you prefer to be reincarnated? That means reborn. But the catch, the condition, is that you can't choose. You might be reincarnated as a plant. You might be reincarnated as a cow. Or you might be reincarnated as the king of Africa. I don't know. Do they have a president? King? I have no idea. But any living thing you could be reincarnated as. Or you choose to go to the afterlife. Now, of course, if you think you're a good person, fingers crossed, you go to heaven. But if you're a bad person, maybe you like to, I don't know, pirate video games and movies, or like steal sweets from little children, maybe you're going to hell. Which would you prefer? Now, we have a few interesting answers here. Let's have a look. Oh, you do believe in heaven or hell in India? Interesting. I would never take that advice. Afterlife. Mio says reincarnated, good. And then prefer to go to heaven in peace. Yeah, I think I would prefer to go to heaven. But I don't have confidence that I'm not going to hell. I feel like generally I'm a good person. This is the thing. What is the cutoff point? Because of course no human is perfect. So, like, how many points do I need to get into heaven, right? How many points do I get if I, pick up someone's lost wallet and return it to the police station? How many points is that, right? But anyway. So, the next topic we're going to look at, if we look here at this little red door here. Hell. A very scary place. Yeah, you do not want to go here because you will be suffering for the rest of time. Eternity, in other words. Yeah. Now, different countries, different cultures, religions see hell in a different way. This is some random Japanese picture of hell. And interestingly, different countries believe that, they all agree that there are different levels of hell, I believe. I think in Japanese, there is a belief there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 levels of hell, right? And each of them are a different type of suffering, right? There's like the screaming hell, there's the burning hell, there's the something hell. right? Um, and similarly, in Western culture, in Christianity, I think, I'm not religious, so please correct me if I'm wrong, but there are different circles of hell depending on the types of bad things that you did in real life, right? Stealing, cheating on your partner, or being too greedy, or something like that, like always wanting money. Yeah. So, depending on the type of sin, right, this is what we call a sin, something bad that you do. Could be being, gluttonous, greedy, wrathful, and so on. Yeah, all of these different things. Okay? I don't actually know what the deepest level is. What does treacherous mean? I'm not sure. But here you see the word, it says Judas here, the person who betrayed Jesus. Yeah, he's really far down here. Oof. I do not want to know what's happening here. But why do people go to hell? Well, I already gave you the answer. It's because people sin. It's because you do bad things and you just can't go to heaven because Jesus died for our sins according to Christianity. And if you're truly sorry, if you really try to do good things and you realize that you've done bad things, then maybe God will forgive you. But people commit sins. They break moral rules. Okay? Now here we have the 7 deadly sins. The 7, any bad thing you do in life can be categorized or can be similar to one of these 7 sins. Can anyone tell me what these things are? If you know the name, one word name, perfect. Or if you can describe it, that's also great. Yeah. So, what are the 7 deadly sins? I gave you a few clues earlier, but just quickly, sharing some ideas. What do you think? I'll give you a few seconds, maybe 15. Okay. Some of these are quite interesting. What are the 7 deadly sins? Yeah. No one? No one want to try and share some answers? Ooh, okay. Yulia says maybe pride and envy. Very good. Those are 2 of them. Great words. Well done. Zia says lie and intoxication, angry. Those are related. Very good. Eddie says greediness. Very well done. Not greediness. You can shorten it, Eddie. A bit shorter. Greedy, even shorter. 1 less letter. Throw away the last letter. Yeah. But very good. The 7 sins are pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, and sloth. Okay? Now, you don't need to know these, but I would say things like pride, greed, and envy are common words that we just use in everyday conversation, right? For example, if a child is just like always asking for more money, you might say, hey, don't be greedy, don't be too greedy. Yeah, greedy is the adjective of greed, which is the noun. Okay. Now, looking at these definitions on the right here, which ones are which sins? Okay. So if I give you an example, Wanting more things and money, that's definitely greed. Can you match the other ones? Okay. Now I'm just going to give you 15 seconds. You don't have to type anything. Just look, just read and say, oh, strong feeling of anger and something else. Anger, I think that's da 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 da. Yeah, so just think about it. I'll give you 10 more seconds. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the answers. Oh, you can't see anything. Oh, is it because it's too small? Is that okay? Okay, I'll give you 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's have a look at the answers. So, a strong feeling of anger and wanting, I will show you in a moment, but anger is definitely this one over here, wrath. Yeah. Believing in your own ability too much and thinking you're better than other people. This is pride. Yeah. Now, pride is not a bad thing. Being proud of yourself and being confident is good. But too much of a good thing is bad. Too much of anything in life is bad. Yeah. So usually I think people tend to be no, it depends on your personality. Some people are very arrogant and prideful, and some people don't have enough confidence, right? For me, I think I used to not have any confidence. Now, I wouldn't say I'm arrogant. I guess sometimes I can be arrogant, but yeah, anyway. And then having a strong sexual desire. Yeah, again, wanting sex, wanting to, be with someone, that's normal. But too much is called lust. Lust. Excessive eating and drinking, of course, you can see just from the picture, that is gluttony. Gluttony. Yeah. And then being upset because other people have more than you. In other words, being jealous. Another word for this is envy. Envy. Yeah. And interestingly, you see it's green, right? There's a phrase. Oh, sorry. I didn't show the picture. Sorry. So envy here at number 4. We often say green with envy. Green with envy, meaning you're very jealous. Okay. And then finally, being lazy, not working very hard. This one is sloth. Sloth also being that animal. I think they're in Australia. They hang on trees and they're very slow and lazy. Yeah. So, sloth. Okay. Now, sorry. Let me move the window. And then, yeah. So, let's have a look at the answers. There we go. Okay. Now, there's an interesting word that I want to show you here. Let's get rid of the pen. Revenge. Revenge is a very useful word, and everybody should know this word. Often, if you watch dramas, revenge is a common theme, But let's have a look. What is revenge? I want you to imagine. I don't like this picture, but I couldn't find another one. But let's imagine your pet rat. An adorable little rat called Timmy. Yeah? Timmy dies. And this horrible woman who hates rats, she's like, "Ha, good riddance. Hated that rat. It was dirty. Why did you have a rat?" And she's like very happy about it. That's a horrible thing to do, right? To laugh and to say, "Huh, I'm glad he's dead," because you loved little Timmy. Yeah. Now, of course, you feel very upset. So then you think, I hate that woman. I want to do something. She laughed at me. She's always making fun of me. She's always bullying me. I want to do something. And then, oh, well, if you hate rats, then she puts a dead rat or something in her box, in her room or something like that. Yeah. So, you're doing a bad thing to someone because they've done something bad to you, right? This is called getting revenge on someone, okay? Often in bullying in schools, it does happen where people do something bad to you, and then you really want to hurt them. That's the easy option. And sometimes I do think you need to defend yourself and fight back. But fighting is definitely not always a good idea. Often it's not a good idea. Yeah. But anyway, so get revenge on someone. You would get revenge on the person that did something bad to you. Okay? Right. Do you think it's okay to get revenge? Now, I said my answer, right? I said sometimes you need to defend yourself, right? Often people get revenge to make themselves feel better, right? To get rid of this feeling, right? But it really depends on the situation. I generally think, what was it? If I had a child and they were being bullied, I wouldn't say get revenge, but I would say at least defend yourself, right? Because there's no easy answer to this question, right? Because I would never tell my child to attack someone. But if you're an easy target, if you just sit there and do nothing, they will target you more and more because you're easy, right? But at the same time, if you're one person and there's a group that is attacking you, especially in some parts of the world where they might be carrying weapons, let's say it's not school, let's say it's in the streets, it could be very dangerous to try and get revenge or fight back. So yeah, there's no easy answer, but in real life, I would say it's a lot more dangerous and risky to defend yourself, right? Because they might have a gun, they might have a knife or something, they might be crazy, they might be drunk. So I don't want to say case by case, but let's just say I believe sometimes you do need to defend yourself, in school at least. But again, too many factors to think about, so... But yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree with Yulia. Very good. But anyway, let's move on because we're running out of time. So, 7 deadly sins. Which sin do you think is the worst? We're gonna skip through this because I think maybe greed, always wanting more. I feel like I'm quite greedy. It's because I don't have much money, so I want more money. But everybody always wants more money, right? I'm sure rich people always want more money as well. So even if you're rich, you want more and more. And speaking of that, wrong picture. Give me 1 second. I forgot to link the slide. So, when it comes to envy, or when it comes to wanting more things, right? You often hear, and if you give children a very expensive toy, after 1 or 2 weeks, they will get bored of it and they will want the newest toy. When you get a promotion and you get a high salary, you think, okay, I need to work harder. I want an even higher salary. You always want what you don't have. You always want the next best thing. There's a special idiom that we use to talk about this, and it's related to this picture in the background. Yeah. Oh, I got the wrong picture. Well, yeah, this one. Okay. So, what idiom do we use to talk about this? Yeah. Maybe some people have already got the answer. The answer is the grass is always greener on the other side. You can just say the grass is always greener. People will understand, right? It's similar to that long idiom, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. But you can just say when in Rome, because it's a very unique expression, we understand. The grass is always greener. That's fine. You can't just say the grass, it's too short. But yeah, it's a useful phrase, right? Like, for example, I say, oh, I want to live in a different country. My home country's boring. And then somebody might say, well, the grass is always greener. You know, you're not living in a foreign country, so it seems nice, but you don't realize that it's difficult to live in a foreign or something like that. Okay? All right. Very nice. So let's continue. And let's go on to. Let me quickly check, because I don't think we can do this section, because it's about Japanese yokai, right? Now, first of all, we can do this part. Do you think supernatural things like ghosts, spirits, and yokai really exist? Do you think these things exist? Some countries believe in spirits, ghosts. Some don't. What do you think? Personally, I think aliens exist. I think it's strange to believe that we are the only living things in this universe. But ghosts? Not sure. I'm on the fence. I'm in the middle. But what do you guys think? Zia says she believes they exist, but yeah. You don't believe in aliens, but the rest you believe. Interesting. So maybe a bit of the opposite. Right. Now, maybe we will do one, but let's do a fun little quiz. Okay. Guess the yokai. Now, if you're not Japanese, then of course it will be very difficult to do this. But if you do know anything about Japanese culture, maybe you might get one of these. We'll do just one, because I don't want to... most people don't know about yokai, so it's not fair. So I'll just do one. Let's go with... I'm going to hide... Okay. I put the creepy music, so let me choose one. I'm going to read a very short text. This will be about 30 seconds. And listen to the description and tell me, what famous yokai am I talking about? It's an urban legend so to speak. Kind of like Bigfoot. Yeah. Okay. Listen carefully and tell me, what yokai or Japanese demon am I talking about? This is a female spirit that often walks around at night in the streets. When she finds someone, she asks them, "Am I beautiful?" If the victim answers yes, she will take off her mask, revealing something terrifying. Then she asks, "Even now?" If they lie and say yes, she will pretend to leave. But in reality, she will sneak and follow them home, then kill them later that night with a knife. Anybody know? I'll give you 5 seconds just to write the answer. So the answer is 3, 2, 1. Very good. Looks like Luna and Eddie, of course, got the Kuchisake Onna, yeah. This woman who has kind of cut her mouth. Or maybe she was a spirit who was killed by someone who cut her mouth. I can't remember. But she is the slit-mouthed woman. Ooh, very spooky. Okay. But, ooh, Zia, you knew it. Very good. All right. Now, let's move on to the next section. This will be the final section. Okay. Now, sorry, let me move the Oh, too many buttons. Okay, so let's have a bit of story time. Okay, this is what you've all been waiting for. So we're gonna dim the lights. Actually, let me turn off these lights because we're gonna make it super spooky. Okay, are you ready? Because it's time for a horror story, okay? Now, I put a lot of effort into writing, doing the sound effects, and kind of making the atmosphere super spooky, okay? Now, don't worry, okay? We have 2 stories for you today. And don't worry, there are no jump scares. If you don't know what a jump scare is, in many horror movies and video games, there will be moments where something suddenly appears on screen or there's a loud sound, like, "Bah!" That's a jump square. Jump square? Square? Sorry, jump scare. Okay? These stories are creepy, but they're not terrifying. Okay? There are no jump scares, and I designed this so that even people who are not so good with horror can hopefully survive, enjoy this, okay? There are no super scary pictures, there's not a lot of blood, it's all atmosphere and all just the vibe, okay? So, put in your earphones, put on your headset, because I worked a lot on the sound effects for this, yeah? And again, there are no loud noises. Let's start. Which one shall we do first? Shall we do The Cabin or White and Red? Please type which one you want to read first. Let me get my voice ready. I need to get my podcast voice ready. Zia says none of them. Bye, Zia. No, please stay. Okay, so I think 2 people said The Cabin. Let's go for The Cabin then. Okay. Now, I need to... How can I do this? Give me a second, please. Can I move this? Oh, that's a bit dangerous. Because the audio's not working. So I need to make the speakers close to the microphone. Okay, so I'm going to read it, the story. Please feel free to read with me. And, what was it? Please tell me if you can hear the music. Okay, so I'm gonna get this ready. Okay, are you ready? No, that's too much. It's so bright. Okay, so let's have a look at the cabin. Ah. It's going well. The strange thing is, trail. But you didn't forget your flashlight. It's probably too dangerous to keep hiking back through the pitch black forest. Luckily, you came across a cabin. It was dark, old, and it looked like no one had visited it in years. But you had a feeling that it was the best place to stay until morning. Especially because your flashlight was running out of battery. You knock on the door a few times, but no one answers. You try opening the door. You look inside and see something unusual. A perfect bed for one person was in the center of the room. The pillows and blankets were new, clean, and white like snow. But the furniture, decorations, and building all looked incredibly old. At this point, you're too tired to think or worry anymore. So you decide to get ready for bed. If the owner comes back, you can explain the situation. But as you get into bed, there's one thing you notice. There are a collection of paintings all around the room. Some were old black and white pictures. Others were pictures of people from different countries. Maybe you're just tired, but you feel like the pictures are moving. Just like the ones in Harry Potter. It was really creepy. But the creepiest thing about these pictures was that all of the people in the pictures were staring at you. Despite this uncomfortable atmosphere, after a few minutes, you don't have enough energy to stay awake, and finally fall asleep. The next morning, you wake up feeling completely refreshed. You're in a good mood. You've got a great sleep. But this morning, you look around, and after a few seconds, you realize it for story number 1. Yeah. So, do you guys understand what happened? Because it might not be super clear. But basically, if I go back here. Yeah. So, these paintings, they weren't paintings. Yeah. When he went to bed, he was so tired, and because it was so dark outside, it's very difficult to kind of, realize that the difference between a painting and a window, right? So he was tired, and he saw these people in the paintings, but in reality they were real people watching him through the windows. So basically, he was going to bed, and all of these people were staring at him. Right? So, something like that. That's right, Yulia. Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, there we go. Hopefully, it was a bit spooky. I hope the pictures are just his imagination. He's too tired. He was too tired, yeah. The pictures were his imagination, but the people were real. They were looking through the windows. Okay. But anyway. So, let's move it on there. That was story number 1. I worked very hard on that, and it was such a short story, but it was quite fun to make. And maybe I will make, I wanted to make it scarier, but of course I have to make it okay for children, because I have a lot of young students. So people who say, "Oh, it wasn't scary," no, I'm joking. Of course it's not scary. I can't make it too scary, but hopefully you felt a bit creeped out. Yeah. What score would you give that story? Like 2 out of 10? 5 out of 10? What's your review? Anyway, let's go back. That was story number 1. Let's have a look at the second one. White and red. Are you guys ready? Let me quickly... Okay. Right, are we ready? White and red. Horror story number 2. Let's have a look. You enter the hotel lobby. It's a little bit old, but it was cheap. It's good enough for one night. You go and talk to the elegant woman at the front desk. Good afternoon. How can I help you today? Hi, I'm here to check in. I'm Jack Wickham. Mr. Wickham, it's a pleasure to welcome you to Urnstone Hotel. She explains the hotel rules and tells me about breakfast and other things. It was all pretty normal, but there was one thing that was weird. Oh, and please remember, your room is 207 on the second floor. Go up the stairs and it's on your right. Please do not go into any other rooms, especially the room at the end of the corridor. I wasn't planning to go into the other rooms, but why is that room prohibited? Just don't. She spoke with an incredibly serious face, completely different to her welcoming smile a few seconds ago. I took the keys and went upstairs. I went straight to my room and started unpacking, but I was starting to get more and more curious about that room. When someone tells you not to do something, you want to do it even more, right? It's human psychology. So, of course, I left my room. I think I can see it. The room at the end of the corridor. The door was surprisingly normal. I don't understand why she told me not to come here. But it is a bit strange. All of the other doors have room numbers, but this one doesn't. Suddenly, I hear a sound. Someone's crying. Okay. I know I shouldn't look inside, but maybe they need help. I look through the keyhole. There's a woman. She's standing in the corner of the room, facing me. I watched her for a few seconds. I didn't say anything. I couldn't say anything because this scene was just too strange. It was creepy. Of course, I was worried about the woman, but I had more questions about the room itself. It doesn't look like a hotel room at all. Where are the windows, the furniture? Why is she in this room? I decided to go back to my room. Maybe she just wants to be alone? It's been a long day. I think I'm gonna go to bed. But, as expected, I couldn't sleep. I feel like I could still hear her crying. I got up. Looked through the keyhole again. But this time, something changed. The keyhole was red. Also, the crying stopped. I guess she heard me running. Maybe I scared her, and she blocked the keyhole with the red card or something. I decided to go downstairs and talk to the receptionist. Excuse me, I think someone needs help. There's a girl. She's... You looked through the keyhole, didn't you? Huh? How did you know? I was too embarrassed to answer her. Okay, fine. If you really want to know, I didn't want you to go there because she's nuts. Crazy. What? That's a bit rude, isn't it? Look, you don't understand. Okay, so, long story short. About 20 years ago, there was a couple that stayed in that room. They were on their honeymoon. When they first checked in, they were so in love. A few days later, the other guests at the hotel reported a strange something like rotten food. The manager checked their room, opened the door, Alright. Sorry, I should be wearing my pumpkin costume. I should have told the story like this, right? And then there was a spooky ghost. Okay. Meal, the second story is 10 times as scary as the first one. Really? I thought... Well, actually... But, by the way, guys, did you understand what happened there? Yeah? So basically... I should take this off because it's not so scary. It looks stupid, right? So, exactly, Yulia, you got it right. So, at the end, or when he looked through the keyhole, he thought it was like a red card or something, but it was actually the ghost looking through the keyhole. So, basically, their eyes were like this far apart. It was like super close, right? Like, imagine if that were you. And you realized that you were looking just a few centimeters away from their eyeball. The eyeball of a woman who was stabbed to death. Like, don't you think that's creepy? Right? Now, I will say, I didn't make these stories. I got the originals from the internet. They were like fan-made stories, and some of them were very popular. And I really liked these two because they were short, and there was a nice twist at the end. But of course, the original story was a bit longer, and the English was very difficult, so I had to change it a bit. And of course, the original just has text. I added all of the pictures and the sound effects, so that's what I did. I didn't write the story, but I realized some of the phrases I wrote in both stories were very similar, so that's because I'm a bad writer. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed both of those stories. What did you guys think? Let me turn on the light and let me read some of the comments, because I would like to make more stories in the future, because that was quite fun. But anyway, so let's have a look at some of the answers. A lot of people are saying the second one is spookier. Yeah, this one's spooky. What a stupid ghost. Oh, rude! And then Mio says second one's a lot scarier. And Yulia got the ending right. First one was okay for me. Second one, only a few lines I turned my volume down. I didn't even want to listen to it when the crying started. That's right. Yeah, when the crying... I don't know why, but it always seems like with a lot of these ghost stories and kind of urban legends, there's a lot of crying women, or like women that become ghosts, right? Like La Llorona from Mexico, a lot of yokai, Kuchisake Onna, Teke Teke, Yuki Onna, they're like all female. Of course, there are some male spirits, but I swear, I really think there are a lot more female ones, and I don't know why. But anyway, what was it? Sika, you're a pro, thank you. It's nice to feel involved in the story. The second one's more spooky. And then, thank you, the stories are really spooky. I'm glad to hear it. Oh, I'm really happy to hear it. But yeah, why is it always women ghosts? Your pumpkin hat is wonderful. Thank you very much, Julia. I use this with my very young students. And I even did this. Ta-da! Spooky, scary skeletons. Happy Halloween. Anyway, the young students loved it. And they were like, oh. But actually, one of my students had a really cool dinosaur hat, and I was very jealous. You know, the grass is always greener. I was like, I want a dinosaur hat. I don't want to wear this stupid pumpkin anymore. Stupid. Anyway. But what was it? What? I think it's because of the history of patriarchal domestic violence. That's actually a good idea. A lot of the women ghosts, they have, what's it? They could be killed by the men or something. It's very sad, but anyway. What was it? No, I'm joking. When I said, "Oh, he's so rude," it was just a joke. I know you were saying it as a joke as well. What was it? Did I make the story? No, I edited the story and I added a few lines, but all of the sound effects and the pictures I made. So maybe in the future I want to find a way of like using stories to teach vocabulary, but at the same time I need to teach the vocabulary before the story, because I don't want to stop the story and say, by the way, this word means this, because then it breaks the flow, right? And one problem with stories is that if you're reading a book by yourself, you always want to understand everything. You will often stop and search a word every time you see something, right? Because you don't understand. But actually, that's not always good. Like in a real conversation, when you don't understand something that somebody says, yeah, you can stop them and say, sorry, what does this mean? But if you stop them over and over, then it's just like, it's not good for the flow of the conversation. If you read a book by yourself, you can stop and look up words, but it's not good again. And sometimes, actually, the best skill to have is not understanding all the words, it's being able to guess or, have a educated guess about what's happening based on what you already understand. So if you understand 70% and you understand the main characters and understand the situation well, you can often guess how, the characters are feeling, what they might do next, right? So being able to guess words you don't know from the context is one of the most important skills for listening, reading, and speaking. Okay, but anyway, yeah. In the future, we'll do some more stories, but I think it took me a day to just like do all the sound effects and get the images, but it was very fun. So, but after Halloween, I can't make any more horror stories, right? I'll have to think of a thriller or an action story, right? But anyway, there we go. So, I think that's mostly it for today's lesson. But we do have a review, so let's go back over here. Hello? Why is it not? Oh, there we go. White and red, blah, blah, blah. Oh, no, that's right. Yeah, okay. So, let's do a final review for today before we finish. Okay, so there were a few words to review, so let's have a look. Now, what do we call a person who kills many people? Right? You don't have to type it. You can just say it out loud if you don't want to type. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have a serial killer. Yeah. Murderer, you can say murderer, but murderer can be just one person, right? A serial killer means they've always killed more than one person. Often No, it's not always randomly. Sometimes they target like just women, just children, and things like that. But yes, serial killer. And we do not say serial murderer, okay? So serial killer is the correct answer. This hat is itchy and hot. Anyway, what do we call a fear of heights? Does everyone remember? Circus? What do we call the person walking on the tightrope? Phobia. Phobia. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Acrophobia. Very good, Zia. Well done. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, Chloe. I'm glad you enjoy my pumpkin. This could be a really good, like, bike helmet, right? But the problem is, Halloween's past. I can't use it anymore. I will find it. Maybe I'll wear this at Christmas instead. I don't know. When you are reborn as something else, you might say to be... one word. A long word. I want to be as a rich person. I'm greedy. I'm going to hell. I'm so greedy. Very good. Well done, guys. And great spelling. It is indeed be reincarnated. Reincarnated. But to be honest, I think the easy way of saying this is reborn. Reborn. Very easy, right? Repeat again. Born. Reborn. Yeah. But if you say reincarnated, that's great. Okay. Many people have experienced this scary situation where you're awake, or maybe half awake, and you can't move your body. It feels like something's sitting on your chest. We call this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sleep paralysis. Sleep paralysis. Paralysis is when your muscles can't move. Usually because of like poison from a snake bite or a spider bite, maybe, or maybe a jellyfish sting, right? But this is sleep paralysis. Can't move. Super scary. What do we call these 3 sins? Because they are very common words. Yeah, being too arrogant and maybe having too much confidence. Any ideas? 3, 2, 1. Ah, dang it, I didn't. Okay, we'll do them all at the same time. Wanting more things and money, and then being jealous of other people. These are called pride, greed, and envy. Very good. Yeah. We don't say the noun greed, but we do say greedy as an adjective. Yeah. So like, don't be so greedy. Just take one donut. You know, you're on a diet, right? Stop being so greedy. Maybe that's closer to gluttony, but we still say greedy even with food, right? Like, Mom, can I have 5 pieces of KFC? You only eat 3 usually. Don't be so greedy. Yeah. I want 5 cream donuts, Mom, please, just today. Yeah, that kind of thing. Okay. Anyway, sorry, bad acting. Something that doesn't make you feel scared, but it makes you feel uncomfortable or nervous. Yeah. Like, for example, I can make a creep. Ah, I said the first part of the word. Okay. The word is creepy. Yeah. So, if I... That was weird. Why is... Huh? When I speak, my face is flashing. What the heck is going on? Okay, anyway, whatever. So, what was it? Yeah, I can make a creepy face. This is friendly Eric, yeah? So just like, hello, hi. But this is creepy Eric. I'd be like, oh, my eyes! Sorry. That's why blinking is important, because your eyes become dry. How long can you guys keep your eyes open? Like, what's your world record? Okay, I'm gonna try it. 3, 2, 1. Ah! That was 5 seconds. Rubbish. Oh my gosh. Okay, right. Let's go back to the lesson. Um, so who's doing that? I actually don't know what was happening with the lights. Wait, is it doing it now? Hello? No? It stopped. Oh, I don't know. I give up. I don't want to think about this. Okay. But Jas says still not creepy. Oh, dang it. What was it? I need to be scarier. Um don't be so greedy like Eric. He wants trillions of dollars. True, true. No, I want a dinosaur hat. If I get a dinosaur hat for Christmas, I'm happy. Wait. So many people saying creepy. I'm not that creepy. Okay. Right. And then next one. When someone does something bad to you, or maybe your friend or something, and you want to do something bad to them so you feel better, or like, because you don't want them to be happy, this is to get revenge. Very good. Well done, Sika, Elisa, Eddie. Very well done. To get revenge on someone. To get revenge on someone. Yeah, that's the full phrase, the action. Yeah, but revenge is the noun. I need revenge. When you want something that you don't have, people being greedy, jealous of other people, they always want the next best thing. This is 3, 2, 1. The grass is always greener on the other side. Very well done, Shane. Good job. Yeah. The grass is always greener. Yeah. Ah! Oh, no, that was the right button. Okay. So, that's it for today's lesson. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed the horror stories, the talking about creatures, hell, and a little bit about Japanese demons. If you want to know about me, what was it? Here, I take private lessons. I teach students privately, one-on-one. Give some feedback. We have some fun conversations, and I have special materials for my private students. Yeah. And I do all of this stuff. This is just because I'm living in Japan now, but all of this stuff I do in English, right? The feedback, the materials. Just like today's themed lesson, which was here we have like dramas, movies, music, and things like that. Oops, wrong button. General shortcuts, no thank you. I teach children and adults. Here is my YouTube channel and things like that, social media, and I think that's about it for today. So, thank you very much for joining us today. I will read a few comments and then I think we can finish because this pumpkin is so hot. Ah. Ooh. Okay. But anyway, so what was it? Mio says, I'm looking forward to reading your stories more. Not too scary one, please. Yeah, I'll do a different one next time. Maybe I'll do a mystery, or maybe... I love a good mystery, but the problem with mystery is that it's really hard to make a good mystery story. right? Because you need time to introduce all of the different suspects and things. Maybe action. But action's difficult with like just a book. But maybe with the sound effects and the videos, it might be okay. But anyway, yeah, I will definitely be making more stories. Thank you. Um, and then grass is always greener. Thank you for not making it too scary. No, that's okay. I knew that horror is not everybody's cup of tea. So I wanted to make it, a bit more friendly to everyone. So, unfortunately, for the true horror fans, it probably wasn't scary enough, but it's okay. And hi, nice to see you, Elisa. The next class, I think I haven't decided next week, but I have some, what was it? Slightly bad news, unfortunately. Next year, starting from next year, I'm going to be doing less live streams, or rather, because I'm spending a lot of time making these materials, maybe not less live streams, but I will do, like, for example, 4 weeks. Week 1 and 3 will be normal live streams as today. But, what was it? 2 and 4, what was it? I'll be doing live streams for like members only, so like paying maybe like, I don't know, 400 or 500 yen for the class. So kind of like what was it? If you want to support me, because it does take a long time and I spend like 3, sometimes 4 hours live streaming every weekend. Recently not so much, but it takes a lot of time and effort. And sometimes I do feel pressure to stream. And I know that pressure is not because of you guys. You guys have supported me a lot. But what was it? Thinking about like my not mental health. I'm not like depressed or like super stressed or anything. But sometimes I do feel a bit tired at work, especially on the Mondays after like live streaming, because it does affect me. Of course, on these live streams, I have to be quite energetic, and I really do enjoy it. But sometimes, of course, I'm not always feeling 100%, especially with my throat. Like, now it's okay, but at the beginning of the live stream, it was quite, like, itchy, and, like, I don't know. That's why I was drinking so much water, but... Anyway, what was it? If I can get people to support me, even if it's just, like... By the way, 400 or 500 yen is, like... In British pounds, it's probably £2.50. It's like the price of a sandwich, basically. I think that's the easiest way to explain it to everyone. But if I can receive a bit of money from like the live streams as well, then that will really help me in terms of like, how do I say it? I don't have to do so many lessons on the weekdays, and then it just makes everything a bit easier for me. But also, yeah, I just want to provide special materials for my private students as well. But yeah, there's a lot of reasons, and if you don't agree with my decision, that's okay. But I hope that a lot of you, have gotten a lot of value from these live streams. And I hope that you'll continue to support me. I really do appreciate it. But of course, I'm definitely not gonna, completely stop doing free live streams, because I know not everybody has the money. Not everybody has, wants to spend money on English materials, lessons, and things like that. So I will still be doing free live streams at least twice a month. And I will continue doing 4 live streams a month. But if you want those extra live streams, then you can support me by paying a little bit of extra money. That's what I'm planning right now. Okay? It was a difficult decision for me, but how do I say it? I think I need to be a bit more selfish sometimes in terms of, because for money right now, I need to, get a full-time job, because as a freelancer, it's not, I'm not good at marketing. So, but anyway, enough about that. that was the update. But next year, of course, I'm always trying to make better presentations, better stories, thinking about different ways to teach English in a fun way using videos, stories, and things like that. So I'm going to work really hard to make the next presentation and everything from that point much better, so that you guys can enjoy it more. And yeah, that's enough from me. Okay. But anyway, sorry, let me quickly read some of the comments. Um, but yeah, so usually I stream on Saturdays every week. Next week, do I have one? I might, but I might be busy again. Yeah, I have an arrangement next Saturday, so I can't stream next Saturday. Maybe on the Sunday, but I will always let you know on the moments of Hello Talk and so on. Okay? And sorry, Yulia, I was ignoring you on the YouTube side. Thank you. But yeah, thank you very much, Sia. I appreciate that. And yeah, it's not so much money. Like, I will still do the live stream regardless of whether or not I get money. But if I can get, two birds, one stone, then that will make my life a bit easier. Okay. How can people join my paid live stream? So I'm thinking, actually, while you guys are here, can I ask you one question? Would you prefer to have a paid live stream where you watch it once and you get the recording? Or would you prefer to have a video lesson where I record it, I do the same lesson, but instead, what was it? It's not a live stream, so I don't respond to the comments. So that means it's like 15, 20 minutes. Of course, there are still questions like, what do you think about this? And then you can write your answers and maybe send it to me, and maybe I can mark it like a homework. Would you prefer like a 15 to 20-minute video lesson that you can take like a private student and watch anytime? Or would you prefer a longer live stream where in real time you can ask me questions and things like that? Which would you prefer? I think both are good. Maybe I will try both. But if everybody says like, oh, I prefer this, then of course I will go for that. But yeah. Live is more fun. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, because there are other comments, right? And you can see what people are saying. The first one, live stream? Okay, yeah. That's true, actually. And because sometimes we get some interesting topics, thanks to your questions and comments, right? So, yeah, I think live stream is good. But anyway, that is the update from me. Yeah, thank you guys so much for this year. I can't believe it's been a year since I started live streaming, and hopefully I've gotten a bit better. But yeah. I'm tired. But yes, so maybe we'll do live streams. We will do live streams. I have the VIP Hello Talk thing, so I can the lifetime thing, so I can do it anytime. But yeah, thank you guys so much. I will think about how to do the payment for the live stream. Probably what I will do, I will send a link on my moments, or maybe I will ask you to message me, and then I'll send you a link for like PayPal or something like that. Yeah, I'll find a way. But anyway, thank you so much for supporting me, and I hope you have a wonderful... It's already Sunday. Oh, the weekend is over. Oh. I thought it was Saturday because normally I do this on a Saturday. Tomorrow's work. I don't want to work. But yeah, that's life. Okay. So thank you very much, Sia. And Cindy, why are you laughing at me? Everybody has to work tomorrow, I think. Is it a special holiday tomorrow? Because I know Japan has a lot of public holidays, right, on Mondays. So that's true. Thank you, Ping. Thank you for letting me know. So maybe Visa, like debit cards and things like that, that would work. But yeah, I have a Chinese student, so and a lot of the people in China seem to be watching as well, which of course is very wonderful. But because of China's different, like they don't use Google, like limited services, I will think about that. So, but yeah, thank you. Everyone's painful, right? Zia, you're off. What? And many people in Russia are taking a day off tomorrow. We have National Unity Day. What? I want unity. Oh, the grass is always greener. But yeah, well, for those of you who have a day off tomorrow, please enjoy, study, watch some dramas, enjoy your day off. And for people like me who have to work tomorrow, let's do our best. Let's yeah, just don't die. Don't get too stressed. Just think about nice things. Think about your warm bed and just look forward to coming home. Okay? That's not very good advice. But anyway. Oh, you're working as an intern in hybrid mode. Interesting. Okay. Kate, my website is ericenglish.com. I'll quickly show you again. It's over here. This is my website, ericenglish.co.uk. If you're accessing from China, you might need a VPN, unfortunately. But for all of the other countries, I think you can access this website normally. Okay? Yeah, sorry, Kate. I can't do anything from the China side. But, okay. Anyway, yeah. Thank you guys for joining. That was really fun. So, I'm going to say ta-ta for now. Have a wonderful evening. And wait, where's the button? And happy Halloween. Happy. Wait, which way? Which way? This way? This way. Yes. Happy Halloween. And have a wonderful evening. And I'll see you next time. Okay. Take care, guys. Bye bye. Don't have any nightmares tonight. Okay. Bye. And on the YouTube side, where's the button? Thank you, Yulia. Enjoy your day off, and anybody else who is watching, take care. See you soon. Have a wonderful holiday.